Welcome back to my channel Celeb Buzz. Please share and subscribe and press the bell icon for new updates. Not many singers can mix pop, folk, and country music with amazing words in their songs. But American singer and songwriter John Denver could do all thought Isley and more. Cool. He was one of the most popular acoustic singers in the 1970s. John Denver made many hit songs like Take Me Home, Country Roads, Leaving on a Jet Plane, and A Knee Song. The last one was written about his wife at the time, Annie Denver. You know what? 78 years old, Annie Denver told people the truth about John Denver. She finally answered all the questions people had been asking about the late country singer. Many people wouldn't know who Annie Denver is if it weren't for her famous ex-husband. She used to work as a school leader and TV person. She's pretty amazing too, which is why it makes sense that the late country singer loved her so much. She was born in September 6, 1946, as Annie Martelto Jim and Norma Martell in Minnesota, USA. She has 3 brothers and sisters named Linda, Terry, and Ben. They were all raised as Christians. Her whole life, she went to theological schools in Minnesota. After she finished high school, she went to Aldo's College in St. Peter. That's where she met the famous country singer. Back then, Denver was in a musicale group called the Chad Mitchell Trio when the future couple met in 1966. Martell was in her second year of college. Denver really liked her right away. They finally met up again a few months after they first met. Martell told more details about their first meeting during a 2022 episode of the Mobituaries with Moa podcast. She shared how her future husband was playing with the Mitchell Trio. Right? After that, he played the guitar with a group of people while we're putting on a fun little musical. Martell said she was the girl who carried the signs across the stage in Act 1 and Act 2. She even said that their ex-husband still remembers what she wore that day, blue jeans and a flannel shirt with panilo furs. The two really liked each other and wrote letters to each other. Before they knew it, they were already walking down the aisle and got married on June 9th. 1967. They dated pretty fast, only 9 months until the couple said they were engaged and got married right after. Annie's song is one of the more popular songs by John Denver, and Madanie Martell, now Mrs. Denver, known to everyone. What makes the song so special is that it has all off things John Denver loved at that time. His love for music, love for his wife, and especially the outdoors. Just recently, Annie Denver finally told us what we've all been wanting to know about John Denver, and this song, it turns out the now 78-year-old widow still cries whenever she hears this song. Besides this song, Annie Denver also shared that another one she loves is the song Perhaps Love, which her ex-husband sang with Placido Domingo. Was the song written during a sweet moment shared between the two? Actually, no. Annie's song was written after John Denver had a certain life-changing moment. You see? 1971 was one of the most important years in the country folk singer's career, because during this time, made Take Me Home, Country Roads. But a few other songs also helped him make his career great, including A Knee Song. What happened was that the couple went on a camping trip in Aspen, Colorado with some friends. Since Denver loved nature so much, it didn't take long for him to fall in love with the place. This also gave him ideas for off his other hits, Rocky, Mountain High. Later, Denver and his wife moved to the place where they built a home and raised their family. But one day in 1973, John Denver came running home, excited to be the place around them. According to Annie Denver, her husband wrote it after Ronnie of their many fights, when they stopped arguing to make peace. It's in a good mood. John Denver left to go skiing. As he sat on the Ajax chairlift on Aspen Mountain, the song just came to him. As soon as he got home, he wrote it down. Key. And not 10 minutes later, it was finished. At first, it was a love song, and it was given to me through him. But for him, it became a bit like a prayer, Annie Denver said. It's nice to know that there's lasting proof of the love shared between and John Denver through this song. The couple couldn't have children naturally, but they adopted a son and a daughter who they both loved very much. Zachary, John, and Anna Kate. Unfortunately, the couple's love did not last long. In 1982, the Denvers got divorced, ending the 15 years of marriage. There are 2 sides to each story, and we'll look at each person's reason that drove them apart. For the country singer, he thinks that his success and hard work really affected his relationship with his wife. He even said that in the last few years that they were together, the two seemed to have started growing apart from each other. Being a popular singer at his best also meant John Denver had to spend many days on the road doing concerts and shows, which also played a part in his divorce. I think my success and my hard work certainly had an effect on non-ease in my relationship, Denver said in a 1983 appearance on the Russo-Hardy show. He continued, think, over the last 4, 5, or 6 years, we started growing apart from each other. And part of it had to do with theme out of time that we spent not together and the things that I got stuck doing and not being together, Anthon. Not being able to change when we got back together to sort of fit the other person's life into our own. Unlike singer, his wife says that their reason for their breakup was because of they were too young and not ready to deal with John Denver's sudden jump in TI fame. She found his celebrity life and everything that came with it scary, to the point that she no longer knew who she was and didn't have her own identity. Even though they had friences, the couple still split on good terms. She stayed singlito. This day while John Denver got married a second time. There have been rumors going around that Annie Martell has already died. Boo thoughts, not true, since she's still avain in her Colorado home with her children and grandchildren. Even though they were only married for a short time, it's not often we get to see a nice breakup between two people, with Annie Martell staying kind to her ex-husband even after the split. This is pretty surprising, especially if you know the scandals and problems that surrounded her ex-husband, most especially his death, which we'll get to later. Since we've already talked about Annie Martell Denver, it's only right hat we also talk about her ex-husband, John Denver. He was born on December 31st, 1943, as Henry John Deutschendorf Jr. in Roswell, New Mexico. He came to be known as the famous country singer John Denver. His parents were Emma Louise and Captain Henry John Dutch Deutschendorf. His father was a really good pilot with impressive records. Growing up, Denver remembered his father as a tough man who was not openly loving to his children. And because of his dad's job, they moved around a lot. Denver was a shy child, and their family moving around a lot didn't help. For one thing, he had a hard time making friends and getting used to their new home every time. The first Timothy lived the longest in one place when his father worked in Tucson, Arizona, where the family lived from 1951 to 1959, when he was 11. His grandmother gave him an acoustic guitar, which he learned to play by himself. He kept playing, and by the time he was in college, he was good and all to play in local shows and clubs. Back then, he was still using his real name until the founder of the new Christa Minstrels, Randy Sparks, said Hessel changed to a different name, one that's easier to say. Now, going by the name of John Denver, he kept playing even as he went to Texas Tech University in Lubbock while studying architecture at the time. Denver not only played the guitar, but also sang in a folk music group until he quit school in 1963 and moved to Los Angeles to do music full-time. Denver was playing at folk clubs then, and it took 2 more years before he took Chad Mitchell's place in the Chad Mitchell Trio. They then changed the name to Denver, Boise, and Johnson for all 3 members, John Denver, David Boyce, and Michael Johnson. A few more years later, Denver left the band and chose to do music by himself. He put out his first album called Rhymes and Reasons with RCA Records in 1969. Before this, he made a recording of some of his songs by himself, and one of these was called Babe, I Hate to Go, which got the attention of a producer, Milt O'Coon. It was then changed, which we now know today as Leaving on a Jet Plane. By this time, Coon had also become Denver's producer, along with the folk group Peter, Paul, and Mary, who made the song popular in Devon Goat, it to number 1 on the Billboard Hot 100. Denver Sound's version also climbed to number 1. The U.S. Cashbox chart in December 1969, what many people don't know about John Denver is that he did most of the advertising by himself, going on Ahmed West Tour, giving out free concerts, even offering to play for free at local places. He also went to radio stations that let him play, knowing he was the writer of Leaving on a Jet Plane. He was even allowed to play a song or two during their shows. All of these helped the country singer get a strong fan base which kept supporting him even into his later years. Compared to his first album, Denver's next album, Poems, Prayers, and Promises, which came out in 1971, sold really well. Through the charts, especially Take Me Home, Country Roads. We've talked about how Denver helped to make himself known with the locals. But the success of this album is also because of the work of his new manager, Jerry Weintraub, who helped get his music played on radio stations, making more people hear it. John Denver reached new heights, becoming really popular in the early 70s with hit songs Rocky Mountain High, Sunshine on My Shoulders, Thank God I'm a Country Boy, and Annie's song To Name a Few. Weintraub also made sure he got on local TV, appearing on as many guest shows as he could until he started hosting some shows himself. Rocky Mountain Christmas, his holiday special, was even watched by over 60 million people and was called the ABC Network's highest-rated show at that time. People wanted to see the singer so much that, soon enough, he had his own BBS series called The John Denver Show. Of course, we can't forget that Singer also won many important awards, including multiple Grammy Awards and American Music Awards. As John Denver's popularity went down in the late 70s, Singer focused more on doing good things for people and on protecting nature. He took part in fundraising projects by performing 4th Aspen Camp School for the Deaf. Andy Van gave money to the Aspen Valley Hospital's $1.7 million money-raising campaign. He also has the 450-acre WinStar Land Conservancy in Aspen, Colorado, which not only was his home, but also a safe place for wildlife and a center for teaching about the environment. Of course, we already know that Denver married Annie Martell and divorced, or after 15 years. What wouldn't mention then was that there was something pretty extreme that happened during the splitting of their stuff. Denver said then that he was so angry that'o make a point about their split, had tried to cut their marriage bed in half with a chainsaw. But people who knew them say that he unlidded it to get back at Martell after she cut down a few of the family trees they had in Aspen. It took a few more years ere Denver met his next wife, the Australian actress Cassandra Delaney, in 1985. He met her in Sydney, and after a few short years of dating, they got married in 1988. The next year, Delaney had a daughter named Jessie Bell and Mayand moved into Denver's Aspen home. It's but like his marriage to Annie Martell, Denver and Delaney also split, and their time together was much shorter. They broke up in 1991 with the actress Steven calling her ex-husband a mean bully. No one really knows for sure, but many people think that Denver's divorce from his second wife caused Munoz his problems in later years. He was charged with drunk driving for the first time in 1992, and the next year, as he was guilty of a drunk driving charge 1, he crashed his Porsche into a tree. So he was put on probation after he was found guilty of drunk driving. The Federal Aviation Administration, FAA, told him to stop drinking alcohol if he wanted to keep flying planes, but sadly, he didn't do it. The next year, Denver was told by doctors he couldn't fly an aircraft anymore. Under his gently maj, John Denver faced a lot of hard times, which led to him using alcohol and drugs for comfort. He had times when he felt very sad and was actually not confident, despite how he seemed in public. He also openly said that he used LSD and marijuana when he wrote Rocky Mountain High and often got criticism for being a bad drunk and being fake. He may not be a decorated pilot like his father, but John Denver knew more than a thing or two about flying. He even had a license for it. John Denver loved flying a lot and even took part in a VH1 promotional contest. So, how is it thought a man like him had a tragic end? Was there some kind of sabotage in Heisercraft? Keep listening to find out. Before we get to the bottom of this, it's important to understand the background and how aircraft work first. Like all things, an aircraft is built, be strong and safe. Unlike cars, you can't exactly pull over when you catch fire, right? Aircraft would need more than a couple of minutes to pull over, and by then, a simple bit of gray smoke from the engine could quickly turn into fire. For this situation, an aircraft throws a fuel shut-off valve in the kit, letting the fire go away and stop it from spreading so they can find a field to safely land their plane. John Denver was flying a Rutan Long EZ, which is a light home-built aircraft, when it crashed into Monterey Bay near Pacific Grove in California. which caused his death on October 12, 1997. He was 53. There were many conspiracies and theories about what caused the crash. One of the more popular ones is the wrong placement of the fuel selection valve, putting it behind the pilot's left shoulder. It was bad design because it would make the pilot let go of all controls to shut the valve off. On top of this, there's also his fuel. Some gauges showed whether he was running low on fuel, but because of those weren't straight and had no markings, it was hard to tell if Hewella had any fuel left. In the end, his aircraft was really poorly built, which led to the country singer failing tow his death into the ocean. Still, there were other safety things that country singer failed to check and make sure were working with the plane's controls, only playing a part in the overall crash. Because of this, John Denver paid the ultimate price. But despite his sad end, he is still celebrated and best remembered today for what he gave to music and good work that inspired and changed lives. This year alone, his song Country Roads Take Me Home appeared on the Billboard chart after it was used in a commercial that aired during the Super Bowl. Also, a tribute to the country singer is about to hit the stage on July 10th, which only proves his songs are still important and timeless to this day.